First impressions of the Port Adelaide Football Club is this is a club of tradition and culture, and no doubt history of unparalleled success. We know how to win. It's what Port Adelaide are. They do know how to win, and the facilities at the club, the things that are around the club, we are absolutely level of any AFL club. I heard Keith talk about some of the other stuff that's going on in the AFL. We certainly don't miss out on anything. We understand that there's need for other financial stuff to continue to go on, but our facilities from a playing point of view for all the boys, they couldn't. I've been to a lot of clubs, Geelong and the Gold Coast, and I've seen a lot of the other clubs. We are absolutely equal to anyone in those areas, so there's nothing there for us to worry about. Since I've been here, we went off to Milan, and the coaches, I see them, most of them standing over that way. The boys that we worked with early days, we went off to Milan, and everyone would think we're going off to Milan, we were over for an exhibition game. There would be a lot of sightseeing, a lot of relaxing and a lot of good times going on. Unfortunately for our coaches, they found out what Kenny was like probably and Richo was going to be like very early, and we worked them into the ground a fair bit in that little trip over there. We had meetings after meetings. But what I've found in that short period of time, that those people, when you think about our assistant coaches, we've got, as I said, we don't miss out on too much here. Keith set us up very well. So we've got our coaches with Sean Wren, in our midfield with Josh Carr. We've got Buddha, obviously, who's done a great job at the back end of last year, coaching with the forwards. And Matty Nix has been the added inclusion from a defensive point of view, and so far is doing a great job. Some of the things that our other coaches are doing, our development coaches, led by Daniel Healy, is that they're still at the football tonight. That's why they're not here tonight. They're at Port Adelaide, there's a game going on, and a couple of important players out there running around for us. Without naming all of them, there's Robbie and Dom are out there having a kick around in the seconds tonight before we come in here. So hopefully Daniel Healy, Stewie Cochran and Tyson Edwards are out there keeping an eye on the boys and making sure that they're working away at what they need to have our list available for round one, which is what we're trying to do. And as it stands now, we'll probably have all bar 2, I think, available, Burjo. Yep, all bar 2 that we'll have ready to go for round one, and we'll be not far away from being a full squad when the time comes. The other major appointment, it's easy for me. I get up the front and say I'm the coach, and I do all the hoo-ha, and I get the kicks or the pats as it goes as a football coach. But the most important appointment that Keith and Koshy were able for me was to appoint Alan Richardson as a support for me as director of our coaching and strategy. Now Richo was. He sits in the background. He does as much work as anyone could possibly do. We're lucky in some way. I think it's not a great thing for him at times, but his family's still not here with him at the moment. But that means I get, I reckon, 18 hours a day out of him, and he works. He stays at the office. I'll ring him at night, and he'll be, I'm just about to leave the club. It's 9 o'clock at night, still working away. But his support and the work that he's done, I don't think anyone at this footy club should underestimate the value that Alan Richardson's brought to this club. And Richo early, I've said it before, but thanks again. It's been enormous for me. And the other one is the soccer guru down the other end there, the Socceroos man and the Liverpool conditioning coach in Darren Burgess. There's been a lot made about what Darren Burgess has brought back to the Port Adelaide Football Club. I can only tell you it's probably been undersold. He's actually brought more, I think. He's been amazing as far as getting these boys in great shape. And I think if you ask all them fellas that are spread around the room now, they've had a fairly solid pre-season. In fact, they've had an incredibly hard pre-season. But Burjo is world class at what he does. No doubt about it, an absolute star at what he does. He is on the cutting edge, the legal cutting edge. No problems. Absolutely does everything by the book. In fact, he does run by a little bit of hard work don't kill you. And that's the way he gets them ready. And, it's really important for us. So Burjo's been another one that's, an enormous plus. Coach comes, the director of coaching, and then you get the conditioning support that we've got. It made our job over the summer much, much easier. Our pre-season thus far, without doubt, the entire group, bar none, have given everything they've got to make sure that we are in great shape. We've challenged them, no doubt about it, we have challenged them mentally and physically. More mentally, I think, as much as anything. And you think about some of the little sessions that we have and the talked about old-fashioned 100-100s that did go on. They did go on at Albion and Oval one day where there was a lot of boys running up and down for an awful amount of time, and they challenged themselves very well. And the great part was the enthusiasm of the group to want to come and do it and be a part of it. Because this group, I can tell you now, this group is sick to death of being average. And I can tell that with the way they've gone about it, they are absolutely driven to make sure this club climbs up the ladder again. So we've been very, very lucky that we've pushed them that way, but we're more than lucky that they've accepted that. I've got a little philosophy with the boys, and I talk to them all the time about it. Do the little things well, and if you do the little things well, you'll make sure you get a great reward at the end. I think if you just keep piling up, I say it to them, you pile them up and keep getting them, you'll get this big pile, and it'll be unstoppable if you continue to do it all the time. That's what we have to do as a club. We have to keep piling up the little things, because there's going to be some ups and downs at some point. But if you do know that every time you go out there, it's the right thing, we're doing it the right way, and we're prepared to do whatever it takes, we'll actually get somewhere. Leads me on to our leadership group, our new leadership group. Not so much new as in personnel inside the leadership group, but new as in some key appointments. Certainly Skipper's over there in Travis. He is absolutely the right leader of this football club, and he's shown that. And we should say, congratulations to Travis and Brad on being appointed at such a young age. At 24 and 22 is an amazing performance. But when you see the leadership qualities that Travis and Brad both bring to the club, if you work with them every day, you would understand that we didn't actually have to make a decision almost. We knew, they showed, and they've delivered. And I think if you watched last week's game against Sydney, you would have seen the captain and the vice-captain going about it in a pretty special way, I reckon, and they showed for sure that they are going to lead this club. And the other boys, well done to Jackson, to Hamish and Jay, who have been a part of the leadership group. I've said to them boys without doubt that they're the people I'm going to when we need them. The number one thing I expect from my leaders is that on game day they play like leaders. There's a lot of stuff gets talked about with leadership groups, and I think the most important one, and I had a discussion with Craig Bellamy at the Storm, was just make sure they're the right people on game day. And our leadership group at this stage have been absolutely incredible on game day. I questioned them up at Alice Springs against West Coast. We were driven about what we were trying to achieve on that game, and I said to the boys as a group, if I'm going to question the squad on this, I need to make sure you lead the way. And bar none, they did it, and they did it amazingly well. So they've been fantastic thus far, but they've got a big job in front of them for a very long time too. The other one, the other big pat in the back from a leadership point of view, should go to Robbie Gray. Now, Robbie's not here tonight because he's actually, as I said, he's out playing football and coming back from a knee reconstruction, which everyone would have seen, and a pretty horrendous injury. But Robbie's ability to get himself promoted into the leadership group whilst coming through rehab transformed himself as a person, I think, off the field. And his teammates obviously know that, and they love that about him, and they want him to be a part of what they're going to do. And his leadership is an amazing thing for us to get, having come off the back of his own personal disappointment. He's put that aside, and he's delivered on the team way, and that's what we'll be. We're a team-first club, and Robbie's certainly done that. For me, the leadership thing is about stability. I'm about stability. I think having come from a club that's been successful for a long period of time back in a couple of years back, I know the importance of having stability and having it right. And I've said to Keith and to Koshi right from the very start that if we need to stick, and we need to stick right through this all the way. Whatever this journey brings up, we have to be able to stay together. That's why we've got a young leadership group, with Jay being the oldest of them. The rest of them are 24s, 22s. So we've got a young leadership group. We need to have this group come through together. We need to go on this journey together as players and coaches and supporters. We all need to go there together. And it needs to be that at the right time, that Travis Boak and Brad and their team are holding up that cup that everyone wants to get. They have to be there. They have to be those people when we get there, because then we'll be getting there when we deserve to get there. We can't be a club that chops and changes. We can't just throw everything out because it's not quite working. This game's tough, and really tough. You've got to stick. The final mention from a leadership point of view should go to Dom, I reckon. Dom Cassisi, not here, and he wouldn't like me talking about it, I'm sure. But to let you know, the Dom decision was one made so much easier for us as a club because of the way Dom conducted himself, handled himself. From our first phone call in October, after I was appointed, was to talk to Dom about, hey, you could quite easily be the captain next year. But if we go through the pre-season and someone's put their hands up and say that we're ready, we'll probably go down that path and make that decision happen. Dom made this decision happen almost himself by identifying that the people who were ready to take over. Dom says to me, one of our first leadership group meetings, was that if we make a change for captain, put the captain in early, make sure he gets a chance to lead the club through the NAB Cup. So with Dom's support, we made those decisions a little bit earlier than we perhaps anticipated, not because they weren't obvious, but because we thought we'd just go through the whole pre-season. So with Dom's support, we were able to get that job done, but the most fantastic part about it is the way Dom himself handled it, and Dom should be given enormous credit for leading this club through a pretty tough period, and he was a great captain for this team. We should never forget it, I don't reckon. Game style. Game style is really interesting, what you want the club to play like. Well, coming in from outside, I know that there's two things that you have to get really right. You have to have your defence right first. You absolutely have to have it right. You have to be able to play tough, hard Port Adelaide football, which the people from around this club understand what it looks like. We have to be that team. We have to win our contested ball. We have to be a good defensive team. But surely you want to see them use the ball well. You want to see them play with some direction. You want to see them actually challenge other sides when we've got the ball. Be brave in the way we use the ball. Not be frightened about where we're going to go. Make sure we head forward, not backwards, and make sure we take the game on and take the opposition on at it. And we'll do that. I think so far we've been able to demonstrate that at times for the pre-season, but there is still a lot of football to be played in this year, and we've got to keep working at it. Because there'll be days, and we've seen it at Renmark, for those who are up at Renmark, where you can overuse the ball. You can do too much with it. We dominated every stat, and in fact, probably win that game at Renmark, and we would have been playing on last Friday night in probably the NAB Cup final, which we would have deserved because we've played a really strong NAB Cup. But it is a NAB Cup, so don't get carried away with where that is. Understand that it's the NAB Cup, but we've worked hard through the summer. Expectation of the football club. Everyone asks, are you going to do this, are you going to do that? I always probably answer it with, I don't put limits. I don't want to set any restrictions. I want to reach for whatever we can possibly reach for, and I want to go for it as hard as we possibly can. So I expect that that's what we'll do this year. Wherever it takes us, whatever happens, we'll be giving it our best and we'll be having a real crack at it. And also want people to be proud of the club, regardless of the ladder. And I talk to the boys regularly about, the scoreboard takes care of itself. It's really important about how you get it to take care of itself. At the end of the day, if you do what you know is right, over and over again, and the scoreboard sometimes will still go against you, because that's the nature of this competition. But you need to make sure you're consistently doing it well. We won't set limits. We'll go for what we can, and we'll attack. And I'll tell you what, we'll attack the first game as hard as we can possibly attack it, and then we'll worry about the second game. But the first game is really the one that we are now looking at, and that's what we'll be going after. We have lost some experience. You shouldn't lose sight of that. We've lost some good players and some older players, and 600 odd games of experience from AFL football. And everyone who's been in the game for a long period of time will tell you that at some stage may affect you. But what we've done by losing those 600 games of experience, I believe we've replaced with some absolute outstanding characters and quality people who, so yes, we might not have their games experience, but what we will have is blokes who I know will play the Port Adelaide way. So a little bit of a loss there, but a great plus on the players that we've brought into this football club. What we need to do is we need to be, as a group, driven to be successful. We need to make sure that whatever we play and however we play to win. I've said it a number of times already, that I win. I want to win. I don't accept losing. I still take my 15-year-old son on and try and beat him as many times as I possibly can, whether that's in tennis or anything. I'll take him on and want to win. That's the nature of the competitor. That's the nature of these boys now. This team will be like that. They'll want to win, and we want to win everything we can. You know what will happen though? We'll try some things during this season, some things that might not come off. You might go, oh dear, what are they trying to do? All I can tell you is that we will try different things, and we will. I can't guarantee anything about what will happen as far as will it turn to gold, will it not? Will it work? I don't know. But I know this footy club over 140 years, it takes courage, takes a will to win, and a never say die attitude. That's Port Adelaide. That's what we'll give for the whole season. So that's my expectation. We will always give it what we've got, and you'll be proud about that. So in conclusion for me, I'd like to thank the passionate Port Adelaide supporters and hope that you stick and keep coming and fill that ground up, will you? Get there and support the boys. Don't let anyone tell you there's not a reason to go to the football, because you're going to go there and be proud of watching them play. We look forward to seeing you at the footy in 2013, and watching your team play and be proud of what they do. There'll be ups and downs, highs and lows. AFL footy, that's what it does. It's a bloody competitive game. Don't think for a minute it's easy, it's not. But I did do my first bit of acting for a long time in that commercial you're seeing. I'm no good at it, and they remind me every day. That's okay. I'll put myself out there for the club and do what they need, because they'll put themselves out there on game day for us, I reckon. And as I said in that, this group will never, ever give up. They'll play till the end, all right? And it does say in our slogan, beware the sleeping giant, because here we come. Thank you.